Oh.
So what do you think about the warm-up?
I mean, I've been doing it for, what did it say, 6 months now, and every time it just sends blood right up through my body. So I like it, and it gets my hamstrings going too real quick. So
Yep. Pre-con 3. All right, so let's go first set.
Okay.
Your hands are basic like this.
All right.
You'll get to that one on the 5th. 6 push-ups, 6 more, 5 push-ups, 6 more, 5 push-ups.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, the push-ups there, 6 push-ups. 2, 3. A basic stance and quarter snap and bend.
Okay.
Bend and snap, excuse me.
All right.
We'll get your hat going there. So Jackson's doing 12 reps of a bend and snap. If you've seen Legally Blonde, you know what bend and snap's all about. Works every time on the hamstrings and the glutes. So as he gets to his quarter squat dip, he snaps his hips back, rolls back on his heels.
It still feels like it's stretching my hamstrings, and I'm still getting that quad with that movement.
Yep. All right, so now we're on this side, the same thing.
Oh yeah, the other side.
Jackson's doing 6 planking twists, and then 6 push-ups on the first round, 5 on the second and third rounds to get his 16 reps.
Quarters and then lay back.
No, do the parallel. Squeeze your glutes, go to parallel, squeeze them on the way up. Yeah, that one. And your feet are inside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did we get new ones?
Those are my wife's. I've got to take them off.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a diva. She has to have her own zap slings. Squeeze. That's it. So now Jackson's engaging his glutes. He's pulling down with his glutes. He's controlling on the way up with his glutes. It's quite an exercise. Not that Jackson needs bare glutes. He's got big enough glutes as it is, which is why he can be
always get better, right?
Forceful on his swing. Yep. When anybody does these, it could be a 67-year-old lady we have. And
I mean, I've seen 8-year-olds doing this too.
there you go. And it's also a matter of the glutes are the biggest muscle in your body. As you get older, you got to keep them strong so that you stay stable. Don't lose your balance as you get older. Some ladies tend to like the way they look in their jeans after doing this for a few workouts.
Yeah, I mean, on this right here, I mean, I even find it like almost even my calves because I'm trying to stay in the ground so hard and press against that.
So what do you think about a glute ham raise compared to this type of movement on here?
Well, like on that, it just isolates that hamstring. It just isolates the hamstring. But on this, you can get your hamstring, your glute, like I said earlier, even your calves because you're trying to hold on to the ground so hard. So this kind of incorporates more muscles than that does.
Right. So yeah, we're into compound movements, not just isolating a muscle. And when Jackson's swinging a baseball bat, he's definitely engaging hips, glute, hamstrings, knees, calf, like he's saying.
Yeah.
Right, so we're up in the ante a little bit now. Jackson's got to simulate a lat pull down while he does the core twists. So it's very difficult to stabilize the bar because the band's trying to pull back in, pull him back in, and he's got to force himself to stay in that position while he does the pull-ups. So super intense core work here.
You're telling me.
Tell me.
I would speak, but man, I guess my left arm. It's there. Bicep, tricep, shoulder, lat, core. There's just so many things.
All right, moving on to the Depthcon 2 magnetic resistance machine. And Jaxon just identified this exercise recently. So I tell you what though, let's go on your first two, just go straight up and down.
I'll just do 2 normals and then a hip back.
Very good.
Man, that sends blood
What's
into
that?
my hamstring and my glute, and
Yeah.
it kind of gets it more than just the traditional up and down deadlift without a hip pushback. So
Right.
I have to act like I'm not out of breath when I'm speaking. 50%
I
of
knew
the
that
audio
right
is
away.
just going to be me going. So like it does this.
Took that little extra deep breath before the last round of 6 twists and 5 push-ups. So you think that gets you out of breath a little more than the regular push-ups?
Oh yeah, because you're constantly having to stabilize, because this band right here is pulling against you the entire time, so you're constantly having to stabilize with your arms and your core. I mean, heck, even your legs have to be shifted right to be able to hold this still. So bend, okay.
Yeah. Now we're hitting a lot of bend and snap on these exercises because he's been training for a while. When someone comes in for the first workout, they'll be more standard up and down reps. So he's just going up and down, but he's having to balance. It's very difficult to balance because his feet are so narrow on the balance platform. Now he's adding the bend and snap to it. But yes, that's a more advanced movement. But you definitely want to get to that advanced movement because, man, the extra glutes and hamstrings are major. I mean, it's great for body shaping, but it's also great for sprinting because of how the glutes and hamstrings are engaged, and that's snapping the hips back movement.
I got nothing on that one.
That's right.
I'm gonna start from here.
Start in the middle.
Start in the middle and go up.
Yeah. So now he's done a push on the first pair. He did a lat pull down movement on the second pair. Now in sets 5 and 6, he's doing both hands or underhand for a bicep curl. So he's doing full body bicep curl push-ups with that additional core work with the band. It's really hard to stabilize the bar in the middle to do those push-ups. Do the push-ups in the middle this time. Right, go back to the middle, hold it in the middle, that's it. It's really hard to hold the bar in that position because the band's trying to pull you back. You can see how he spun out when he came off.
My biceps are
beautiful
blown
dismount.
up.
You should be a gymnast with that dismount off the
We gotta make it look nice.
All right, so we'll do quarters.
Here we go.
So now this is where the first reverse squat was isolating the glute. Now we're really gonna and I shouldn't say emphasize the glute because you're still using your hips and all that compound movement, all the muscle groups. Now it's more intense on the hamstring, even though it's still working the glute. So he's having
my calves.
barely go into a quarter squat and then lay back, which is like a reverse leg curl or a reverse Nordic curl. Really pulls the glute, the hamstrings tight. We call these the Jetsons. If you ever saw the cartoon, the Jetsons, where George Jetson is pulled by the dog on the moving sidewalk, and his body goes forward, but his head stays back. He can't get his head to go as fast as his body because next day when you start to run, you start to feel like, oh, my head can't keep up with my legs. My legs are shooting forward real explosively. So we'll go All right.
And if you want to say something again, I went on the wrong side. Five, six.
Now Jackson's going into a long split. You would think it's pretty low. There is no back compression. There's no spinal compression because it's all pure force. It's all magnetic. He's working through a magnetic field that's providing the resistance. So there's no outside weight. It causes pressure on the back.
Woo!
Oh, saying that? I don't know what you're so tired about. There is no weight on that machine.
Oh, well, it's magnetically pulling you up and down. So when you get down here, you have to lift it up, but at the same time, it's still wanting to stay up, so you have to push it right back down. So that's why that makes that so hard. So
you have an excuse for being tired.
maybe a little bit.
Your citizens using that machine. We have 4'8", 12-year-old boys who weigh 70 pounds using that machine. No back compression. Not like putting weight plates on a trap bar and deadlifting with regular weights. Jaxon, so what's the kind of like breakdown of other people you've seen working out in here?
So kind of like you said earlier, you have the 70-pound 12-year-olds, or you have the high-performance athletes. The amount of force you put in to the deadlift machine is what you're going to get out of it. So if you're going really hard down, really hard up, it's going to be really heavy. If you're on maybe less experience on the weaker side, if you push it lightly, it's still going to go down. And if you pull it up lightly, it's still going to go up.
Yeah, that's good. We forgot to bring that up because the harder you push your hips up and down, the more force you apply on the Defcon 2, the more resistance you get. The magnetics actually work against you down to the lowest level. So he's going to be a hero for one set and do it at the bottom.
All right. I think the key word is try to do it at the bottom. So come back. 3, 4.
So you see he's using an uneven grip. His right hand's underhand and wide. His left hand's narrow and overhand. So the narrow hand's really like dip, tricep, chest, pec, whereas the underhand is bicep then because of any underhand grip really engages the bicep.
Yeah, it's engaging my shoulders too. I feel it in that front right there. And kind of just
Yeah.
And then just sit back.
Yeah, not with your butt though. Well, yeah.
Like that.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. You still drive your hips back.
So kind of.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Right.
Go up to the toe, maybe.
What's that?
Go up to the toe.
Yeah, if you can. So it doesn't look like a lot of movement there, but because the belt's so low, his hips are having to do extra work. It's really working his glutes and his hamstrings. And you see he's on the balls of his feet. So again, he's getting a real compound movement, multi-joint, hip, knee, ankle flexion. Again, good for performance and good for some glute stability as you get older and some good glute work for your genes. And we're not talking about your parents' genes. Now this is the 9th set, which is an odd number. So he's not going to go both directions. He's going to go, one side exclusively, then the other. So he's going to do half his reps on one side. It's really hard to stabilize, keeping the bar still in the middle with your hands that narrow. And so now he'll do the other side. And he'll finish up with that 9th set then. So his last set, we do 9 sets of push-ups, 9 sets of legs, 9 sets of push-ups on the twisted mule, 3 on the natural balance squat, legs, 3 on the ground bull, reverse squat machine, legs, 3 on the DEFCON 2, magnetic force, legs. This is called happy hips. One of the baseball coaches here gave it that name because he was a little reluctant to do it. And then the next day when he ran, his hips felt really light and he ran better, he said, than he had in years. It doesn't require recovery because there's no weight plates, there's no negative, there's no eccentric. It's all concentric, concentric, positive, positive. And so it looks like, oh my gosh, can I really go that deep? Yes, no back strain. There's nothing detrimental at all. It's just all beneficial for hip flexibility and power by going that deep. And we do put heels up sometimes like that just to keep the back a little more aligned. Catch your breath yet? Maybe. So what do you think about going that? And that's why we call it DEFCON 2. Sorry. We call it DEFCON 2 because depth, you go lower than you could ever go on a regular deadlift. Con is concentric, which is positive in weightlifting, the positive movement, positive, negative. And then the 2 is two-way concentric, depth, con, 2.
Going that deep, if you go to that deep on a deadlift, guarantee you'd feel that on your back, or even an RDL, you'd feel that in your back. But with that, same thing about how the force you put in is what you get out of it.
Right.
It doesn't allow you to string your back or anything.
Right.
You're gonna think I'm a mouth breather because I'm